load for my job, which you know. So I wanted to introduce you tonight as, you know, Eating NYC. You've, you know, had this Instagram and blog since 2014, which is
Long
crazy.
time.
Yeah, it's crazy, like thinking that 2014 was a long time ago. And now we're in 2020, and, you know, now TikTok is a thing, and people are like transferring
Love
influencers
TikTok.
over to TikTok, and like Instagram influencers are now, you know, having to come up with like these new and creative ideas on how to promote brands and how to, you know, promote restaurants. And now that we're stuck in this COVID situation, it's like, how are you working with restaurants, and what are you doing to help promote them with your
Um,
following?
yeah, so I have to say I was honestly like at the start of this like really in denial about what a big deal this was going to be. Like I was like, oh, like it's not gonna happen. We're not gonna go into quarantine, and then they're like we're going into quarantine. I was like, it's just gonna be 2 weeks. Like it's fine. Like I didn't want to face the reality of what was actually happening. And it honestly took me a long time. But even before like the quarantine even started, I was just seeing everything I was working on just being canceled. Like I had press trips planned, I had sponsored projects, I had like obviously things lined up for the next 4 weeks, and little by little, this is like we're talking the first week in March. Things were just getting canceled right and left, and I was just kind of had to take a step back once this all started and was like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I can't go to restaurants. I was like, I don't like to take pictures of food in my house. Like, that's not what I do. I don't want to do that. So I really had to take a step back. I would say, you know, the first 2 weeks, of course, was a shock for everyone, but I really took that time to just put a lot of information out there. So if you go to my page, you'll see on my highlights I have like a COVID-19 highlight where I rounded up like all these restaurants that are doing delivery. Unfortunately, a ton of which since then have stopped doing delivery. But so promoting restaurants that do delivery, promoting GoFundMe pages, Roar, basically everything that I was seeing that how people could help. I was just pushing a ton of stuff out there, and it was kind of like I felt like I was running like with a chicken without a head. But I was like, this is what
I
I
feel
need
like
to do.
so many restaurants and like CPG brands and like different like direct to consumer brands were hitting you up left and right
Yes,
for,
so many restaurants were like,
and it's
we're
like
delivering.
how do you use, you know, your channels to help everyone? And it's so hard because there's so many, you know, small to large businesses out there that need so much help, whether they're doing a promo or they're doing, you know, they're selling gift cards or um, doing takeout and delivery. And now, like you said, a lot of them stopped doing takeout and delivery because their staff was either getting sick or they don't want to
It's
risk their
not worth
employees
it
getting
for them.
sick.
It's also not worth it because how much business are they doing? Yeah, I mean, there, like you said, there's so many things I could do to promote. I felt overwhelmed with organizing the information. I was like, am I giving people too much?
Yeah.
But I really just put a lot out there, saved it to my highlights, and hopefully, um, you know, people are using that as much as they can as a resource. I think one of the best things that I've seen are the restaurants that are doing deliveries to hospitals. So in addition to, let's say me or you wanted to order in food for ourselves, we can place an order that goes directly to the hospital. So at first it was like donate to their GoFundMe page or get a gift card, and then it became, well, why don't you give us the money for the food, but we'll give it to a hospital. So it was really twofold. And I think
Yeah.
overall that's one of the best strategies that I've seen restaurants implement.
And what about, you know, the other strategy, like where, you know, restaurants are now putting together meal kits and selling them
that
as,
was going to be what I was going to say next. So I think this like second best thing I would say restaurants are doing, which this really started picking up a lot last week. I had like a handful of restaurants or even new companies and new apps that just were created in these past weeks where they've put together either restaurants have turned into supermarkets where instead of buying their food you can just buy, they're just upcharging their wholesale products so you can shop for them as a bodega or supermarket. So I've seen that, and then I've seen actually food distributors and restaurant distributors coming together. I'll send you this after the post, but coming together and putting a website where they have like, this is a meat purveyor, this is a seafood purveyor, so me and you can shop directly from a food distributor, which is something we
like
never.
Baldor, right? I saw that.
Like a Baldor thing,
yeah.
yeah. So it's basically like something that me and you would never have access to. Now we can, and that's really cool. And I think there are like some minimums, but yeah, we're all buying a ton of meat, produce, so it makes a lot of sense, and it's a great way because I'm sure all that food would previously be going to waste.
Yeah, I mean, there's other wholesale food companies that actually aren't able to deliver their product to direct to consumer. It's just B2B. So a lot of those companies had to either donate all of their food or they had to throw a lot of food out. Not going to name the companies that had to do that.
That's terrible. They couldn't donate it?
A lot of it was like past expiration. Some of it was still going out to the food, but it would have been like one day. I mean, there's tons of articles online where you can read like the guys who were donating, the guys who weren't donating. I mean, it's like the whole industry, it was just impacted so largely and so harsh that people didn't know what to do. Even like the kitchens that I, had access to, we were donating to food banks, but some of the food we either had to sell back to the brands or we had to throw out. So
that's crazy.
There was a lot of weight. I mean, look, like with this comes a lot of like wastage and a lot of other shit that we don't think of, right? Like we only want to see the good that's coming out of, things that food vendors are doing right now, right? But I think that no one really wants to address the things that we didn't do.
I just wouldn't even have thought that would have been an option. I assumed every single thing that wasn't being used was being donated to people who need it.
Look, you want to assume that, right? It's like the best possible scenario, just donating as much as you can. But sometimes vendors just don't either have access to doing that. Like they don't have workers where they can like pay to go and,
that supply chain doesn't exist because they didn't.
Right. But anyway, so off the topic of that, I don't want to get too detailed into like what, Baldor and those types of companies are doing. But going back to what you're doing, which is so amazing. I see that you're, putting together recipes from your favorite restaurants like Carbone and Levain and other restaurants. So what are your top recipes that you're coming out with right now to share with other people?
So Levain I just did this week. I did it last week. I posted it this week. I think next week I want to do the pancakes at Sunday in Brooklyn.
Love those.
I feel like that's going to be good. On my list, I also have the Smith mac and cheese, Au Cheval burger. I have a lot of ideas. I feel like I'm trying to pick things that obviously some are more complicated than others, but for the most part, things that people can access the ingredients, and if they can't, it's like fairly easy to substitute.
Yeah.
And things that people are excited about, like people went crazy for the Carbone pasta, and it's pretty easy to make, so that was fun. It's fun to do, and it's a different way to share that content, and I think people are doing a lot more cooking now, so.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's interactive. It's a good way to connect with people, like having your friends do a Zoom and cooking everything together. And I feel like a lot of people who follow you and friends of mine have just like been constantly looking at your content to see what you're developing and so that they can put it together themselves. So I think that's great that you're coming up with these innovative ideas to, kind of help shy away from what's going on and bring people back to social media and connect people through cooking.
It's definitely a distraction for me, so.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. So, what I've been doing too is like, obviously we're all home, we're all cooking, we're going to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, once a week, as limited as we, as limited as we should, right? Because we just can't be in the stores for too long. So are there other strategies or ways that you're thinking of, you know, either getting food delivered, or are you going into the supermarkets? I know you're located in the city right now. I'm in New Jersey. For people in Jersey, it's a little bit easier to get access to a supermarket. I know in the city, like anytime I've come in the last couple of weeks, you're waiting on crazy lines to go into Trader Joe's.
Honestly, it's really only Trader Joe's, though. I have
Is
to
it?
say, I don't understand why, but it's only Trader Joe's. Whole Foods is hit or miss. Sometimes there's a line, but it's short. But like I live 2 blocks away from a Morton Williams, which is great, and there has never once been a line or anything close to
Wow.
it.
So there's not even a line to get in for like capacity reasons, or?
I mean, they seem to be doing social distancing. They have like stickers on the floor when you're waiting for the cashier. They're just never a line. I think people are just really obsessed with Trader Joe's, and that's what it comes down to.
Trader Joe's.
I
haven't
am
been able to
too.
go. I finally was able to go because the line was shorter in my town.
I just wouldn't wait that long. Like,
crazy. And especially like being around that many people. And it's funny, like we were in Trader Joe's the other day on Sunday, and we're walking around other people, and they had like a 30 limit max to how many people could come in, and like we still felt that was too much. The feeling that I had going in there is going to be the feeling that we all have when we come out of this, which is so scary to think about.
Yeah.
Like that's why with restaurants, like from what I'm hearing from like Eater and the governor and yada, 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 like when restaurants are able to come back to where they were, it's going to be 50% less capacity in the restaurants. They're going to be taking your temperature. They're going to be wearing masks. It's not going to be the same experience. Do you think that restaurants and bars are going to have a little bit more of like an exclusive vibe to them post-COVID?
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think there's going to be an interesting reaction. There are going to be the people who are dying to go out and then there's going to be a whole group of people who are still scared to go out and not comfortable eating at restaurants. I don't think bars or clubs will open at all because,
I mean, think about all of the small, like Wilfie and Nell, and like all these like small little bars that we used to go to in the West Village or the East Village. Like, how are they going to be able to sustain themselves?
I think places will have like maybe like a max 30% capacity, but who wants to go to a nightclub when there's 30 people in it? Like they can't have, let's say, hypothetically more than 50 people because they're all going to be close to each other, and that's too many people.
I mean, especially in New York, right? Like you're walking around during like football season, and guys
you're like a sardine,
and they're sweaty, and you're on top of each other. Like that's not going to be the norm anymore.
I don't think we're going to see that kind of reality for at least 6 months, probably more.
So crazy to think about.
Which is so crazy.
I think going back to restaurants, like even restaurants that have that tight capacity, right? Like thinking about what's that restaurant that we go to in Soho, the Italian place that has like five tables? Piccola, Osteria. It has like 6 tables. How are they going to survive? It's going to end up being either a ghost kitchen, or I don't know if they're going to be able to.
A lot of restaurants I think might not be open. I mean, from my knowledge, the stimulus packages that have come out are, I don't want to say they're a disaster, but it's not good.
No, I know.
It's not good. It's very confusing. I mean, I myself tried to apply for a PPP loan, and it was confusing, and I didn't think I was going to do it right. And even if you're applying for the PUA, the unemployment, you have to first be denied unemployment to then apply for the emergency unemployment, which is different for independent contractors. It just all sounds like a disaster. And then last week they ran out of money. So I was like, did my application not work because they ran out of money? Like, it's so unclear, and I can't imagine. And I spoke to an accountant too.
Restaurants that haven't been open for a year weren't able to apply for PCP. Is that correct?
And that, you had to be at least a year in business. I mean, I found it to be incredibly confusing. I felt like I was shooting into a dark abyss, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, so like I'm just gonna go for it. I can't imagine how other people felt,
especially other people that do have a full restaurant staff that and a lot of them were still trying to maintain, you know, a good relationship with their restaurant employees and still pay them like at least 50% less. Now they're not even able to do that.
Right.
So it's like, you know, I'm hoping and I'm praying that a lot of these relief funds will help. You know, I haven't really seen much movement from the relief funds. I know James Beard House is doing a relief fund, lunch for clinicians.
That's the other problem, is that there's too much being thrown out there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting emails.
There needs to be a centralized.
I'm getting emails from New York State, and there's certain loans and things you can apply for that are just for New York State, and then there are the federal things. Like, do you apply to both? Like, which one can you apply for? It's so unclear. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, let's check out the comments. Shake Shack got, So,
yeah, I read that today, too.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's great, right? But we need more of those.
Well, it's like Shake Shack, like, they're very smart. Like, they're on top of it. So if they were able to apply, like, there should have been enough money for everyone. Like, it's a disaster. I don't know what to say about it.
I know. I mean, going into like a little bit more, you know, a positive note. How do you think COVID will, you know, change the world of what we call influencers, and like you know, being one of the OG New York foodie influencers, like I feel like, you know, you guys have to come up with a plan, right? Like you have to work with brands.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call that a positive note either.
No, I mean, look, it is a positive note because there's so many other ways to drive business through content, especially social media.
Yeah.
And pivoting, maybe like still staying and, you know, having that focus in food, but also working with massive brands who are doing really well during this financial marketing.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that could be a whole new. She has another concept that's coming out in Long Island City, but who knows when that's going to open. But her income was coming through Time Out Market. Now there's no Time Out Market. So what is she going to do? And that's really like the question, right? And that's what, again, hits home, because I know so many chefs in that same position that cannot do takeout because they're not available. Like their restaurants they can't open in order to take out, and they don't have the staff. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions. There's really no solid answer. Everything is very uncertain, like you said earlier. I think time will tell. I think that solutions will pop up. I think that people like us create those solutions and help to market them. And I think that's where, you know, where you and your platform can really come in when working with these brands and working with these restaurants, is to do that, is to really help push them, promote them, and, you know, create some sort of dynamic, creative relationship with them.
Right. I mean, that's always been at the core of what I do, is promoting restaurants and helping them out. And that's obviously what I'm going to continue to do as this continues to unfold, however it does. But, yeah, we definitely have a ways to go. But I think you're right. I think, you know, we have to stay positive, and there will be solutions. I just hope that, you know, the government can help out these people who are now out of jobs sooner rather than later, because I think that's
I agree.
the scariest part.
We have to pray. We have to also pray for the people who, you know, are in the hospitals right now, who are sick and aren't making this out. You know, they're not making it out alive, and you know, there's just so much. But, you know, there's always light at the end. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We'll get through it together. Let's go again. Let's shift over back to food, because now I'm getting sad. So you know, Stephen Kolka again just said curbside pickup has been so amazing. Had Hillstone curbside 3 times last week. Good for you. So what are your favorite restaurants right now that are doing delivery, and what have you gotten from them so far?
Okay, so we actually are working on a post right now for the best restaurants to order in from if you have a special occasion that you're celebrating. So I'm trying to think what was on there. Maria, Red Farm, Blue Hillstone Barns is doing a pickup kit.
I saw that. That's amazing.
Red Dora has a pasta kit and full menu. We're ordering Red Farm tomorrow night, which I'm excited about. Bohemian, which was previously never available for
Right.
delivery.
They were like you had to call or email
You had to
and
like
get a
have
wait
a
list.
yeah, you needed like a recommendation to get their number. I'm trying to think what else was on there. Sushi Dojo, Sugarfish, Sushi Ishikawa. There's a good number of them. Obviously Carbone, um, Rayo's. Trying to think what else. If
Now, are
you go to,
you more exclusive? Do you know?
you just froze.
So sad.
It's so
You
sweet.
can't. It'll stress
Anxiety.
you out, right? Are you doing any workouts?
Fun.
You could buy this online for like $5.
Like, why not make it?
And yeah, or make it Elmer's glue, like some food coloring. It smells great. It's lavender.
Like,
It's
great.
really
I'm like
honestly,
watching you. I'm like mesmerized. I'm like,
I know. It's like, wait, it's so helpful. Like even when I'm doing work or
it's like a
in
stress
meeting,
reliever too, right?
it's incredible.
Wow.
My friend Tess is like, send to me, please. I know.
Yeah,
Everyone get yourself slime, get yourself a dog, get yourself a friend like Alexa. She's the best.
you're the best. Thank you so
Alexa,
much for
thank you
doing
so
this with
much.
me and
Thanks
for
doing this
starting
with
this.
me.
This is a really great idea, and it's just a really positive for everyone watching. And
Yeah, look, we have to keep each other motivated no matter what, right? Like I started the hospitality house, just because I really had nothing else to do, and B, I've been in the industry for a little while now. I feel like I have so many good friends that have so many stories and so much advice to give.
You can learn something from everyone. I think
And Instagram Live is cool. I mean, everyone's doing it now, so like maybe you don't get as many viewers, but honestly, it's for me, and it's for everyone watching.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to, come in and hang out with me, it's great. It makes my night and it makes my day and it makes me look forward to the rest of the week.
Totally. Yeah, I know. I was looking forward to this all day. I washed my hair, so
I put on clothes, so
yeah, earrings. I got like all decked out. So thank you for giving me a reason to do that.
Listen, anytime. I know you have other Instagram lives this week too, so I look forward to watching them.
Okay, perfect. And I'll talk to you soon.
I have one more shout out. So Alexa actually posted a couple of weeks ago about this relief fund called Lunch for Clinicians, and I reached out to them to partner with them. So after every hospitality house, I give them a shout out. They're in my bio, so you could link in my bio and donate as little as $1. Anything helps. If you're looking for other relief funds, it's super easy. Everyone has Google. It's a search engine optimization tool. You can go in there and you can look up some relief funds. Please donate, even if you don't have a job, but you're making unemployment and you don't have expenses, like $1 helps. So
it's really true. It's really true.
And literally anything helps. I tipped the coffee guy today and he was like, he's never been so happy in his life. I gave him $2 and he was like,
no, it's the little things, especially now.
So anyway, thanks for watching. Alexa, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
You're the best.
You.
We'll
talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.